Welcome back to Racing Pulse. Time now to preview the richest greyhound race in the world, the $600,000 Tab Melbourne Cup, to be run on Friday night. Mick Floyd has joined us in the studio and he's already got the tux on and the black bow tie. He's so excited. How are you, Mick?
I'm excited, Michael. It's a great week. It's a fantastic race. The way the whole card's come together has been absolutely fantastic. It's when you have a heat and final series, you don't always get the best ones through. It's the nature of the series. But the 8 finals we've got here on tomorrow night are just outstanding. It's going to be one of the best Melbourne Cups I think we've seen, certainly in my time in the sport.
It is just absolutely mouth-watering, and you've given us a special treat because your tips have been on fire, but you said, you know what, I'm going to go even better than that. I'm going to bring in one of the best form analysts in the world of greyhound racing. Troy Little joins us. How are you, Troy?
Good, Michael. Pleased to be here.
Oh, great to meet you, a man who makes his living by betting on greyhounds and winning. That's what our listeners like to hear. How do you see this year's Melbourne Cup?
Yeah, it's a fascinating race this year. I don't think I've seen a cup for a long time with so much early speed, so it's going to be critical which dogs hit and don't hit the start.
And the overall card, is it a punter-friendly card, do you think?
It's thin, but I think we can stamp a couple out and take a few multis and, hopefully put our head in front.
All right. Now I know where Mick... Is it actually Mick who gives the tips every week he comes in, or is he just giving yours? He's got a remarkable strike rate, Mick Floyd, so maybe we found out the secret. What are we looking forward to on Friday night? Not just on the track, but off the track for any listeners who might be thinking about heading there.
Yeah, it's the biggest night of the year for greyhound racing, so we'll have a massive crowd at Sandown Park. It's free entry, plenty of activities on and off the track. So the great thing about greyhound racing, of course, is that, or one of many things that are great about greyhound racing, they're only about 20 minutes between races, so the action's non-stop on the track. Off the track, there's plenty of entertainment, lots of giveaways, and someone will have a chance to spin the big wheel for $1 million.
$1 million?
$1 million on the big wheel. It's the biggest prize ever offered on a greyhound track, and for the punters, it's a $1 million projected pool as well. So it's a $1 million night at Sandown Park with Founder Bale also aiming for $1 million in prize money. So.
For the punters who do come along, how do they get a chance to spin for that $1 million?
Just fill in the entry form when you arrive, drop it in the barrel, and if you're lucky enough to be drawn out, you get to spin the wheel, and you're guaranteed at least $10,000 if you spin the wheel.
Gee whiz, we saw the $1 million tab punter at the races get the cash, so it could be an omen. We'd love to see it go off tomorrow night at Sandown as well. The field is absolutely outstanding, and one man who is going to be trying to take it home is Anthony Azzopardi, who's got the Adelaide Cup winner, Raw Ability, who has run some of the fastest splits in the Cup heats. He joins us now. How are you, Anthony?
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
Very well. Looking forward to tomorrow night.
Yeah, so we.
Anthony's
it's been a long week.
Stranger to the Melbourne Cups, of course. You had a finalist last year in Zambora Brocky, and you're looking after last year's winner, Ando's Mac, during your stay in Victoria. What's it like having one of the favoured runners in the final?
Oh, look, it's a great thrill, I think it's just a great thrill just to have a dog in it. It's like, all us trainers, we're all thrived to trying to get in this final, and when you get one in, it's a very special feeling,
Is it any different? You've had a couple of runners now. Is it any different as it goes on? Does the experience change?
No, not really. No, I've got pretty excited, as you've seen behind the boxes. Look, this race, I don't think you can get really. You go, mate. You don't get excited. You might as well give up the game, mate. Really, it's the opposite race,
You're coming into the final with one of the favourites, as we said, Raw Ability. He's the way he jumped last week was just extraordinary. 4.95 for the first mark. We know his class. He won the Adelaide Cup. You must have been thrilled with the way he got out last week.
Yeah, I was. He always used to do that, at early his racing career and that. He just seemed to have lost it for a while there, and look, he just come out and bounced back like he was before. So look, I don't know he's going to do it tomorrow night. I'm hoping. But look, at worst, he can jump with them. That's the worst he can possibly jump, really, in his career. But if he can jump like that, he's going to be awful hard to beat.
There is a ton of early pace. Box rise is going to be critical. You've come up with box 4. You won the LA Cup from there, but you also jumped from 4 in the Top Gun as well, and didn't time the start quite as well. What are your thoughts after the box draw?
Look, you always want your box, you know what I mean, after a box draw. But look, I went home, thought about it. It is what it is, but I don't think he's badly drawn at all. I think on terms, I'm pretty sure he could beat the 3 out. Uphill Jewel's the one. She will pressure him, but he will take pressure. There's no problem. If we could just stay level mode with her and strike a light on the outside, if we can just stay on the inside, we'll have a chance, but they are special dogs,
We mentioned how quick he began last week. His middle split was very good and ran 29.20 overall as well, which is near enough a Melbourne Cup race record. So if he is in the lead, he's going to take something to run down.
It will, just where bewildering will be. He's the danger. He can find his way around the field. He's such a champion dog, so I'll be looking out for him if we're in front. That's for sure.
Best luck, Anthony. It's going to be an exciting couple of days for you, and I'm sure Kayla's going to be up and about as well. She'll be there tomorrow night.
Oh yeah, she's already ready for the lunch, mate. So she's thriving, that's for sure.
Anthony, best of luck. Just a quick one. It's been a hot week in Melbourne this week. How does that affect the dogs, and do you have to take any extra precautions with them?
Oh yeah, you got to stay sure. Like we're pretty lucky. We've got good air conditioners in the kennels here as well, and they're not doing it too hard, so they have, they're having a pretty good week. Just when you let them in and out, that's all. But look, it doesn't affect them here. But yeah, if you haven't got air conditioning, it does affect them a little bit.
Well, best of luck in the Cup tomorrow night. Anything else on the card that you like that we could follow for the listeners out there?
Yeah, look, I reckon Crash Bandicoot. I think he's the one tomorrow night for us. He's well boxed in the two. His run was really, really good last week. He got beat by a really good dog, but he took a lot of ground off it. So, look, I think he'll be getting close to winning that tomorrow night.
Good luck, Anthony.
Yep, no worries. Thanks, guys.
Anthony has a party. What about the performance, Mick, of Shona Thompson to have the two favourites lining up in the TAB Melbourne Cup? She joins us now. Good morning, Shona. How are the nerves?
Yeah, good, thanks. The nerves aren't too bad.
You'd be an old hat at this now, Shona.
Pardon?
You're an old hat at these Group 1 finals now.
Yeah, I don't think you ever become an old hat at it, but yeah, no, the week's gone along nicely, and I'm just looking forward to tomorrow.
You got the two favourites, Aston Db coming up with a red. What were your thoughts immediately after the box draw?
Well, I was probably the only trainer in Australia that didn't actually watch it because I just thought that Dylan Serge would call me. So when I got the call and they said the pressure's on now, I said, what are you talking about? I didn't even realise it had been done. So I hate to actually admit that. But, yeah, no, I was absolutely wrapped. It was the one box I wanted was to draw the red with Aston Db and Serge did well. He managed to do that for Ray and for myself, so he did very well.
Didn't do himself any favours, though. He's a part owner of Bewildering, and they've come up with the 6.
Yeah, we're blaming Bill. Serge is taking all credit for drawing the red, and we're blaming Bill for the 6. But it's not actually a bad draw for Bewildering. I was hoping for in the middle, 3, 4, 5 would have been nice. So 6 is the next best thing.
He's arguably one of the, for mine, he's the fastest dog of the country, Bewildering. But if there is a question mark about him, is his first split. He went 5.22 last week. He was enormous in the run to win the way he did. But how do you see the race unfolding? What needs to happen for Bewildering to get into the race?
He just needs luck. I would be very surprised if he came out the way he did last Friday night again this Friday. He does have good early pace. He just doesn't always get it right. The same thing goes with Aston Db. He has scintillating early pace, but again doesn't always get it right. But they're both very strong, so they both just need things to go their way. And there is a lot of early pace into the race. So I think Aston Db is obviously drawn perfectly in the red because he will hold his spot and push through. He's a big dog, but it wouldn't surprise me to see Bewildering right up there into the first turn. And if he's sort of within the first couple of dogs, he's going to be running on very strong.
He's got an amazing race record, Aston Db. I think this is his 10th or 11th group final now. He hasn't broken through at group level, though. How do you rate him as a dog overall?
Oh, I think he's a brilliant dog. Even we actually had him here, pre-training, and had him here for quite a long time. And when he was coming through trialling before he even raced, we knew we had something special. And we were sort of thinking back then this dog could have a stud career. So we knew from early days he was something pretty special. It took him a little while to work out what racing's all about, but he's definitely worked it out now. And both dogs are actually come through last Friday night really, really well and are both jumping out of their skin.
Ray Borders, the owner, he's a very good owner. He's got a lot of fast dogs, and I understand he's not making the trip over.
No, he can't make it tomorrow night. He's got a big function that was booked a long time ago that he can't get out of. So if Aston Db wins, Ray might be barred from coming to group races. So we'll just see what happens tomorrow night.
All right, well, Shane, I'm going to put you on the spot now. Aston Db or Bewildering? Who's the stable elect?
Oh, it was actually been a really hard decision all week for me to even work out which one to handle. I handled both of them last Friday night, and they are two of my favourites. So, it's been really hard for me to even work out which one to handle tomorrow night. But when Al Gallo was racing, I used to dream a lot about, what was going to happen in the race, and everyone used to just laugh and say I was an idiot. I have had a dream this week. I'm not going to tell you what happened.
Oh, please, you have to.
No, well, I woke up before they even got to the finish line. I woke up just past the 700 boxes. So don't worry, I have told Ray and Serge. But it's hard to pick. I want a Quinella the race, obviously. It's hard to, I wanted to both be there. But I'm handling Aston Db, so okay. I don't know, maybe there's something in that.
All right. Who was in front in the dream?
Aston Db.
There we go.
With Bewildering a length off?
No, he was a little bit further than that off. But he was making his way into second, so who knows? We can all have dreams, and, my dream obviously is to win a Melbourne Cup. The whole year's work goes into these races, and, obviously I just want all the dogs to get through the race safely, and it's a brilliant field, and I'm just ecstatic to have two dogs in the race.
Oh, good on you, Shona. It's a great story, and hopefully your dream comes true tomorrow night.
No worries. Thanks very much, guys.
Shona Thompson, unbelievable that she's got two dogs who are the favourites in the $600,000 Tab Melbourne Cup.
And deservedly so. Aston Db was the fastest heat winner and has come up with a red, and Bewildering, as you said, is the fastest dog in the country. He's a two-time Speed Star winner, and the only question is the box. But obviously the kennel's quite comfortable jumping from there, and look, they're definitely two to beat.
All right, we're going to take a short break. On the other side of this, Troy Little is going to dissect the Melbourne Cup and also find us the quaddie tomorrow night.
Always celebrating Victoria's Spring Racing Carnival. RSN927.
Hey, yo, Arnie, I got a great idea for a new movie. Rocky 23, The Champ versus the Terminator. No, girly man. Real entertainment is at Sandown with the Tab Melbourne Cup, the richest greyhound race in the world, and entry is free. What about Rocky 24, The Champ versus the Super Dogs? Shut up! You're giving me a tumor!
See Super Dogs fly at the Tab Melbourne Cup and be there for a chance to spin the super wheel for $1 million. Friday, November 24 at Sandown Park. Go to superdogs.com.au.
Celebrating the world's richest greyhound race.
30 seconds to history.
With another Tab Melbourne Cup memory. Simone Fisher.
The 1988 Melbourne Cup was won by the smart young pup Hewer at only 21 months of age. Beginning brilliantly from box 7, he was able to cross the field clearly, was never challenged and went on to win by 2 lengths. The time of 30.01 was then a new track record for the 511 metre trip at Sandown Park.
Into the straight on it, Hewer clear over Disco, Duschlinger, and Hewer's won the Melbourne Cup.
The Tab Melbourne Cup final this Friday night on the Greyhound Leader, RSN 927.
For 150 years, Craig's Royal Hotel has been the heart of Ballarat. Now it's the luxury destination. When you're in Ballarat for the races or touring the Goldfields historic towns, indulge yourself at Craig's. You can savor fine food and wine in the acclaimed Gallery restaurant and enjoy luxurious heritage accommodation. Craig's has a wine, dine and stay package that's right for you. So plan your escape to the country now. Book on 5331 1377 or see craigsroyal.com.au.
Experience the extraordinary at Craig's Royal Hotel.
It's the latest Tab update.
Time to have a chat to Trent Langscale. Trent, let's start with the big Melbourne Cup because we're previewing it in the studio at the moment. What's the market doing? Where is the money going?
Well, Aston Db out of box 1 is the $2.70 favourite, Michael, for the Tab Melbourne Cup. You've got Bewildering from box 6 at $3.70. Since the box draw on Sunday morning, there's been good support for Raw Ability, who's coming out of box 4, a $1,500 bet at $7. So currently $6, along with Cuda Mayhem, who's coming out of box 2. And then Uphill Jill, the Top Gun winner from box 5 at $8. So as Mick and Troy have discussed, it is a tremendous lineup for the Tab Melbourne Cup tomorrow night, Michael. Aston Db out of the box 1 is currently the $2.70 favourite. The other complimentary part of the night, the Bold Trees final, and Fantabale looking to get through the $1 million barrier. Coming out of box 3 is just odds on at $1.95. You've got Rockhoon from the 7 at $3.40. Ebby Ripper from the 2 at $5. And Champagne Sally from box 5 at $9.50. And as has been also mentioned, Michael, we've got the $1 million projected quaddie pool, and all of the legs are up. Just the 5th race, which is the Sir John Dillon Memorial, $3.50 favourite, Shadale coming out of box 2. And race 7 is the Cup Night Sprint, which is the consolation for the Tab Melbourne Cup, and Big Flood coming out of box 4 is the $3 favourite. But there'll be plenty listing for Mick and Troy's thoughts shortly.
All right, let's have a look at the big Ballarat Cup meeting on Saturday as well. Mr. Garcia is the favourite. Jared McLean was on earlier, and he just had a word of warning for punters that they don't know the horse that well, but he said on his work, he couldn't see him winning the Cup.
Okay, well, Mr. Garcia has actually tightened as the favourite since we went up yesterday, Michael, from $3.20 to $3.10, so perhaps a word of warning there. Antonio Giuseppe, the $5 second elect. Grey Line has been a drifter, $5.50 to $6. Also, Second Bullet at $9. Then you've got Sontag and Oncidium Ruler, the best of the others, at $10 there. But, okay, Mr. Garcia, the $3.10 favourite for the Ballarat Cup. Of the other races on the card, Michael, good money in the first 4 Love Days, $4.40 into a $3.80 favourite. The Magic Millions 2-year-old Clockwise Classic is always intriguing. The 4th race on the card, there's been money already for Tony Nakoni, who's been 5 into a $4.20 favourite. And also in race 7, support for Urban Ruler 5 into $4.60. So Ballarat Cup, Mr. Garcia, the $3.10 favourite for the standalone meeting on Saturday.
And who's the favourite for the Railway?
Joint favourites now, Scales of Justice has eased from $5.50 to $6, while Tom Melbourne has been $8 into $6 since the barrier draw on Tuesday night. Blackheart Bard at $6.50. Supply and Demand at $8.50. There's been a move of the price, Michael, for Variation, who's been 16 in the 12, and Allman $13. The best of the rest there in the Railway Stakes. And also the Sky Racing WA Guineas, a big one on Saturday. Money Maher is the $4.20 favourite with Perfect Jewel at $4.60. So plenty happening, but obviously tomorrow night a big one at Sandown Park. We'll get back to Michael and Troy there. You can check out all the markets and plenty more at tab.com.au.
If you're a contractor breaking the ground with a shovel or a machine, damaging underground pipes and cables can cost you more than time. Underground networks can be fragile and sometimes hazardous. Don't risk it. Dial before you dig. Visit 1100.com.au with information provided in 2 business days. Neglecting to do so can cost you more than time. Always dial before you dig. Visit 1100.com.au or call 1100 during business hours.
The heartbeat of Victorian racing. RSN927's Racing Pulse.
Welcome back to Racing Pulse. We're previewing the Big Tab Melbourne Cup, which is run at Sandown Park tomorrow night, the richest greyhound race in the world. Mick Floyd is in the studio, and professional punter in the world of greyhound racing, Troy Little, has joined us as well. Troy, let's go through the runners one by one and just get a quick summation from you on their chances. And number 1 is Aston Db, the current favourite in the race.
Deservedly favourite. He's a quality dog, this dog. 2 starts ago off box 1. He held his line very well. So there's no questions that he's going to, he should be able to use this box in the Cup. And it's critical because there's so much pace in this race. I think he's got a good draw. I think if the 2 comes out like it can and he trails through, he's going to be extremely hard to beat.
$270, is that right price?
I think that's about right. Yep, I think that's about right.
Aston Db, the favourite. Number 2 that you mentioned is Kudamayam. Are you expecting Kudamayam to lead?
Yeah. He trialled sensational a couple of starts back. And for those of you who don't know splits, he trialled 492 at Sandown, which is like, it's flying. You don't go quicker than that. And if he comes out and runs that, he will lead the race. He is a little bit hit and miss, but I think with Chasing Crackers giving him a little bit of room, I think he can go to the front and run a cheeky race at good odds.
Okay, well, he's currently a $6 chance. So do you think that's...
I think he'll drift a little bit because he's unproven at this high grade and he's a newcomer on the block. So the robots and the big teams will probably push him a little bit. But, if you find the front in a big race, you can definitely win.
All right, number 3 is Chasing Crackers, a $17 chance.
Yeah, I think he'll probably drift as well. He's going really well, this dog. He's a good, honest dog. He's a good free-for-all dog. Not quite sure that he's up to winning a Melbourne Cup just because of his lack of speed and his lack of brilliance, but he's sort of a dog that comes out and goes through his gears the whole race. He's more of a one-pacer. He's a very good dog, but it's a big ask for him to win this.
Okay, number 4 is Raw Ability. We just heard from trainer Anthony Azzopardi, and Trent Lanescales told us a $1,500 bet has just been placed on him at $6.
Yeah, I missed the $7. I would have taken some of that, but yeah, I think he's a great hope. This dog, he had a boom on him early days, went off the boil, like Anthony said, and he's getting him back to where he was. And in the Adelaide Cup, that was a hot race with a lot of really tough, good dogs, and he barged his way to the front and put them away and hung on well. He's very hit and miss at the start. If you have a look at his splits are a long way apart. So if he hits the start, he's going to be very hard to beat.
Okay. What about number 5, Uphill Jill, currently an $8 chance?
Yeah, flying this bitch. She's probably one of the best bitches in the state at the minute. She's come of age lately. She's faultless beginner. I'm just concerned that with pace in 2 and 4 here, that if she doesn't lead, she can't win the race. Mm-hmm. And if one of them hits the start, I don't think she can get around them. And she tends to run pretty straight down the middle of the track. So 4 will get his bit of room there to use his pace underneath her. So, she's going to have to absolutely fly the gates to get across these.
All right. Number 6 is Bewildering, the current second favourite at $3.70.
Clearly the fastest dog in the country. Got the best run home in the race comfortably. He's got 5 or 6 lengths on these dogs running home. I think his best chance is if he misses a kick. I think if he misses a kick and all these dogs with pace underneath go out and drag each other and he can just slot him behind midfield on the fence, he will power late. I think if he comes out, he gets car parked outside these speed dogs, and I don't like that. I'd like to see him just tucked in behind him at the first turn, not 4 and 5 wide.
With these greyhounds like that, do they have race smarts?
They do. He was good last week. He got caught outside a wide runner and he actually ducked back underneath at the first turn. If he had stayed outside that dog, he was in the hot dog stand. He was gone out of the race. But he's a very smart dog and he's a very, very good dog, and he's learning to race properly. And I think if he just drags out behind him, I think he can get a lovely run into the race.
All right. So hold your breath at the start there for Bewildering. Number 7 is Aston Millie, a $17 chance.
Yeah, I had something on her actually to win the pre-post, but I don't think she's come up with the right draw to take that. She's improving, but her first split recently is just not quite quick enough to cross this field, I don't think, from box 7. And once again, she hasn't proven herself in the top grade yet, so I'm happy to risk her.
And the 8 Striker Light, $11?
Yeah, well, we thought this bitch was cast for a previous few months. She'd been going awful, but they got her back, and last week was a touch of her old self, and she was brilliant. The split she ran was unbelievable, and yeah, she went probably to her PB, but once again, there's so much pace here, and, I'm struggling to see her get across here.
We talk a lot about speed maps in racing. How do you do speed maps in the greyhounds?
Oh, it's everything. It's everything. You find your leaders, you find your dogs trailing through, you find your dogs getting car parked out wide. They're not going to get around. You just got to weigh everything up. And, they're critical to dog racing.
How do you see them landing in the Cup?
I'm going to stick with the theory that 2's going to hit the start and hold the front. And I think that brings the red right into the race. I think he's going to be extremely hard to beat. My numbers are going to be 1 from 6 and then 2 and 4.
1, 6, 2, 4. So 1 Aston Db to beat the 6, which is Bewildering, which would be a Quinella for Shona Thompson. She's pretty happy.
I think the marbles are falling all right, providing Bewildering comes out average.
And then you've got 2 Kudamayam and the 6, the 4, which is Raw Ability. So how will you play the race? As a pro punter, how will you play the race?
I'll be waiting to see what happens late-ish. I've got my market here, and there's not much width there in the market just yet, so I'll be waiting to see who's going to push and who's going to firm, and then I'll probably make an opinion. It's a tough one. I might play exotics. I think Bewildering runs into the placings, so I'm going to try and put him into the placings and rove him around the leaders, which are 2 and 4, and the dog getting the lovely run on the fence, which is the 1.
All right. Now, Mick, you have been tipping up a storm in recent years. So who is your selection in the TAB Melbourne Cup?
Yeah, the race could play it a few different ways, but whichever way you look at it, I think Aston Db is going to get that dream run through. He's going to jump well enough to hold his spot on the rail. If the 2, 4 or the 5 leads, and I think they're the 3 likely leaders, as Troy said, Kuda Mayhem and Raw Ability, they can be a little bit hit and miss. Uphill Jill is brilliant. She will ping the lids and run 5 flat to the first mark, which certainly could lead the race. The question will be how strong she is at the end. And if she does jump and lead, then I think Aston Db will just rail through and be too strong at the end. So whichever way the race plays out, I just can't see Aston Db. I can see him getting beaten, but he's going to run a place. Something has to go wrong for him not to run the first 3.
All right, there you go. Troy, while we've got you here, let's pick the eyes out of the quaddie because it's going to be $1 million quaddie. The first leg of the quaddie is the Sir John Dillon Memorial Race number 5. What numbers do we need here?
We're going to go slightly wide here. We're 1, 2, 4, 7 and 8.
1, 2, 4, 7 and 8 in the first leg of the quaddie. The second leg is the Bold Trees Final. Does Fantabale break the $1 million?
I think she does, yep. I've got her on top. I think the only danger is the one might provide a little pestilence to her early. It can come out and really spear the lids and want to get off the track. So she's got to begin brilliantly and clear it. But if she clears it to the first turn, she'll take no end of beating. It is a charge of the Light Brigade, though, saying that. And the only run-on job in the race is number 2, Abby Ripper. There's one certainty in this race. She will be out the back minding her own business. And when they all start to get tired late, she will start to rev right up. So I think she's the main danger. And I think 5 was a terrific run last week after its good trial. I didn't think it could back up its trial, but it did, called Champagne Sally. So I think they're your 3 you need in the quaddie here, 2, 3 and 5.
2, 3, 5 in the second leg. The third leg is the Cup Night Sprint.
I'm just going the class dogs here. They stand out. The market's found them. Black Mumbo, Big Flood, and Ando's Mac. And I think if either of them find the top clearly, they will be winning.
3, 4 and 7. And then how many are you going to put in the Melbourne?
I'm just going to take the 4 of them, 1, 2, 4 and 6 in the
1,
cup.
2, 4 and 6. We'll put that quaddie up on social media. Troy, it's been great to get you in here. What's your best of the night?
I think the best of the night, you have to wait. And if you're struggling after the cup and we don't get the quaddie, load up race 9, number 1, Dinah Dean. Dog really in form, hitting his straps, loves the rails, looks to park leaders back here on the map. And if he gets the right breaks at the first turn, he'll be too strong.
All right, that's at 9:48 Friday night. There'll be a few who might be jumping on that. What price do we think?
I think it'll be tomato sauce in the end.
Okay.
If you can get any sort of black figures, I'll be happy to take that.
Troy, great to get you in here and all of your thoughts. Good luck tomorrow night with yourself on the punt. And Mick, enjoy today. There's a big Melbourne Cup lunch on and then tomorrow night as well.
It's a great time of the year for all codes, but Greyhound Racing's night night tomorrow night. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So head along to the track if you want to see the best in the sport.
And I'll tell you what, if Troy holds up his end of the bargain, we might make this a weekly occurrence. Good luck. Enjoy. It is the biggest race in the world for the Greyhounds, the Tab Melbourne Cup. And don't forget, you'll get to hear all of it here on RSN927 on Friday night. And we'll have a big wrap-up of it on the show next